Have you been feeling disconnected and from everything, like you don't belong anywhere anymore, like something you can't explain has shifted inside you, and now nothing feels the same? You're not alone, and you're definitely not broken. What if I told you this is the exact moment your soul planned to wake up? Not in a church, not in a yoga class, not in a perfect sunrise meditation, but right here, in your confusion, in your ache to find meaning again, in the space where the old path stopped making sense. Because awakening doesn't look like light beams and angel feathers. It looks like losing your sense of direction. It looks like walking away from people you once begged to stay. It looks like crying in silence and not even knowing why. This isn't failure, this is recalibration. This is your soul breaking the mold it no longer fits into. It's like being born again, not into the world, but into yourself. You're outgrowing illusions so tightly woven into your identity that their unraveling feels like death. But it's not death, it's liberation. And liberation never feels clean. It feels messy, emotional, lonely. But the loneliness isn't punishment. It's a sign that your soul is pulling you inward, away from noise into truth. They didn't tell you this part. That awakening would first feel like falling apart. But think about it. A snake doesn't grow inside the same skin. A butterfly doesn't stretch her wings inside the cocoon. And you were never meant to stay in a reality that shrinks your light. So if everything feels foreign lately, if you feel like a stranger in your own story, good. It means the old script is ending, and a new one is waiting to be written by you. This pain, this confusion, this emptiness you can't explain, it's not your enemy, it's a doorway, and your soul knows exactly what it's doing. Breathe. You're not lost, you're awakening. There's something no one talks about when it comes to awakening. It's that deep, silent ache of not feeling at home on this planet. Not feeling at home in your body, in your family, in your job, or even in your own reflection. You've looked around and thought, this can't be it. This world doesn't feel like mine. And you're right, because it isn't the world your soul remembers. The energy here, it's dense, chaotic, inverted, and the more awake you become, the more obvious it feels. You didn't come here to fit in. You came here to remember who you are, and in doing that, change everything. But first, you had to forget. You had to live in the illusion long enough for your soul to recognize the frequency it no longer resonates with. That disconnection you feel. It's not failure, it's feedback. It means the programming is wearing off. You were trained to think your value came from your productivity, that love had to be earned, that pain was your punishment. But your soul knows different. It's just been quiet under the noise. And now, the noise is breaking. You're not lazy. You're not weak. You're not crazy. You're just tuned in to a frequency most people have forgotten how to hear. A frequency of truth, of alignment, of soul. And yes, it makes things harder sometimes. You feel more. You see behind the masks. You sense the tension in places others call home. But that's not a flaw, that's a gift. You're not emotionally fragile. You're spiritually awake in a world still addicted to numbness. You're sensitive to energy that no longer aligns with your truth. And that sensitivity? That's your superpower. So if people have told you you're too much, too intense, too emotional, good. You're feeling what most are still ignoring. That heaviness in your chest, that's your soul refusing to settle. That pressure in your mind, that's a message trying to break through. You were never meant to feel comfortable in a system built on forgetting. You were meant to awaken inside it and choose something different. You're not here to fit in. You're here to light up. Have you felt that strange emptiness lately? Like you're floating between two versions of yourself, no longer who you used to be, and not yet who you're becoming. You're not lost. You're in between. And this space in between, it's sacred, even if it feels like nothing at all. We're so used to noise, to movement, to doing and fixing and chasing something outside of us, that when things go still, when life gets quiet, we panic. We think something's wrong. But this silence is not your collapse, it's your soul clearing space. You're not empty because you've failed. You're empty because you've released what no longer serves your becoming. You're not falling apart, you're falling inward. Think of it this way. The caterpillar doesn't grow wings while flying. It dissolves. It becomes liquid inside the cocoon, unrecognizable, formless. undefined, and that's where you are, in the sacred space between identities, where the old you no longer exists and the new you hasn't fully arrived. No one teaches us how to honor this part. They call it burnout, or depression, or being unproductive. But your soul knows better. Your soul is doing what it came here to do: dismantle the false to make room for the real. So if you're feeling numb, detached, or confused, let it be. Don't rush to fill the space. Don't try to fix the silence. This is not a problem. This is a clearing. You're shedding timelines, the past versions of you, people who no longer match your vibration, dreams that were born from survival, not soul. And yes, it's painful, because we grieve what once gave us meaning, even if we've outgrown it. The truth is, that old life, it wasn't aligned. It was familiar, but it wasn't free. And now your soul wants freedom. But freedom comes with a price. You must let go of the structures built on fear. You must walk through the hallway between stories without clinging to what used to define you. That's where the real magic begins. If you feel like you're doing nothing, trust me, your soul is doing everything. It's rewriting the script, resetting your compass, reconnecting you to the rhythm you lost while trying to survive. And the more you resist the void, the louder the noise becomes. But when you sit in the silence, when you breathe through the unknown and you begin to hear something else, something soft, something true, something ancient, that's your soul speaking again. Not in words, but in remembrance. You're not empty, my love. You're full of potential not yet shaped. You're becoming. So let this moment be quiet. Let it stretch without answers. Let the old burn off without needing to replace it immediately. Because what's coming next needs space to land. And you, brave soul, are finally making room for it. You've spent so much time trying to fix yourself, trying to heal, trying to become more spiritual, more aligned, more worthy of peace. But here's the truth no one told you. You were never broken. You were just covered in noise. And the pain you've been feeling was never punishment. It was the signal. It was your soul's way of saying, this isn't you anymore. This isn't the life we came to live. This mask doesn't fit. This identity isn't real. And yes, it hurt, because letting go of what's false always does. No one prepares you for the grief of awakening, the grief of losing friendships that once felt like family, of walking away from roles you poured your whole self into, of no longer being able to play along with the version of life everyone else still calls normal. But listen carefully. You didn't come here to fit into the world. You came here to realign the world by remembering your truth. So if you feel like nothing makes sense anymore, that's not failure, that's clarity. If you feel like everything is falling apart, that's alignment. If your old dreams no longer inspire you, that's growth. This isn't chaos. It's realignment. It's your soul taking the steering wheel back. And when the soul leads, ego panics, patterns collapse, familiarity vanishes. But peace begins to whisper. Maybe not right away, maybe not in fireworks, but in small, honest moments. Like the first deep breath after crying, like the strange calm after saying goodbye, like the softness that appears when you finally stop pretending. And this is how the soul speaks. Not through logic, not through rules, but through feeling. That ache in your chest when you're out of alignment, that pull in your stomach when something's off, that warmth that rises when you speak your truth, even if it scares you. These are not just emotions. They are messages. They are compasses. They are home calling you back. And no, it's not the kind of home made of four walls and familiar faces. It's the home within you, the place where your soul feels like itself again, where you stop performing, where you stop running, where you remember. Some call it alignment, some call it awakening, some call it the return. Whatever name you give it, the truth is simple. You didn't lose yourself. You just left parts of yourself in places you outgrew. And now, you're calling them back. Die piece by piece, breath by breath, and tear by tear, you're coming home. So let the pain be what it was meant to be. Not your punishment, but your portal. A sacred crack, where the light of your truth finally made its way in. You didn't fall apart, you fell through the illusion. And what you're landing into now is real, it's soul, it's you. So here you are, not who you were, and not quite who you're becoming. Suspended in between. Wiser, softer, a little more raw than you used to be. but also more real. Because for the first time, you're not building yourself from fear. You're not chasing validation. You're not trying to fit into a mold that was never made for your soul. You're finally asking, is what actually feels like me? And the answers don't come in words. They come in resonance. A quiet yes in your body when something aligns. A sacred no in your chest when something feels off. A sense of ease. Even when the path ahead is unknown, you no longer crave what you used to. The noise, the attention, the comfort of performing, they feel hollow now because you've tasted something deeper. And once your soul gets a taste of truth, there's no going back. This is the moment your healing stops being a project and starts becoming a way of living. This is when your sensitivity becomes your compass, your silence becomes your sanctuary, your intuition becomes your leadership. And no, it doesn't mean you'll never feel lost again. It means that even when you do, you'll know how to listen, you'll know how to return, because now you've learned the path isn't outside. It's never been. The path is a vibration, and you are the instrument. You don't need to explain this to anyone. Some people won't understand your shift. They'll say you've changed, and they're right. Because you no longer betray yourself to make others comfortable. You no longer abandon your peace just to keep a connection alive. You don't force anymore. You flow. And that flow, it's not always graceful. Sometimes it looks like boundaries. Sometimes it looks like solitude. Sometimes it looks like not answering the phone, but that's okay, because your alignment is louder than your guilt now. You're learning to live from the inside out, to make decisions not from fear of lack, but from trust in divine timing, to rest without guilt, to walk away without shame, to choose yourself without apology. You're not becoming someone else. You're finally remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. You're not upgrading your identity. You're releasing it. You're not rising because you hustled harder. You're rising because you surrendered. And that's what this journey really is. Not control, not striving, not chasing, but allowing. Allowing the old to fall, allowing the truth to rise, allowing your soul to lead without asking for permission. And yes, there will still be fear. There will still be days where the ground feels shaky. But now, you trust the quake, because you know it's not destruction, it's alignment. So breathe, feel your heartbeat, feel your feet on the earth, feel the quiet shift inside you. You're not who you were. You're not who they told you to be. You're not even who you thought you'd become. You're you, raw, sacred, rising. So tell me, was it ever really about finding yourself? Or was it always about undoing what you were never meant to carry? Because what if you were never lost? You were just buried, under expectations, under noise, under stories passed down by people who forgot their own truth. And now, you're peeling it all back. Layer by layer, pattern by pattern, lifetime by lifetime, until what's left is something so simple, so quiet, so honest, that you almost don't recognize it. But that stillness, that peace, that soft pulse in your chest, that's you, not the version who chased perfection, not the version who kept trying to do it right, not the version who swallowed her truth just to keep the peace, but the soul, the witness, the light behind the eyes. You don't need to have it all figured out. That was never the point. The awakening wasn't meant to give you control. It was meant to give you clarity, to strip away the distractions, to help you feel again, to remind you what truth feels like in your body, not in your mind, not in your plans, but in your vibration. The moment you said, "I don't know who I am anymore," was the moment the old shell finally cracked. That wasn't weakness. That was the voice of your soul, breaking through the static. And now look at you, breathing more slowly, listening more deeply, trusting more fully, not because everything makes sense, but because you no longer need everything to. You're remembering that the path was never straight. It twists, it burns, it silences, but still, it calls. And if you've heard that call, even once, you're already on your way. So stop waiting to be ready. Stop waiting to be perfect. Stop waiting to feel safe. The soul doesn't awaken in certainty. It awakens in surrender. And you, brave soul, you surrendered the moment you chose to feel. That's what most people won't do. They'll distract, they'll numb, they'll shrink. But you felt the ache. You followed the silence. You walked through the emptiness with nothing but your breath, and That's courage. You didn't just survive, you remembered. You remembered who you are and why you came. Not to fit in, not to chase, not to achieve, but to become light again. To shake off the dust of this world and radiate from the inside out. So if you're still in the middle of the unknown, good. It means the old system didn't win. It means your soul is still speaking. It means you're still listening. And now I ask you, not with urgency, but with reverence, can you love yourself even here, even in the unfinished, even in the in-between, even when you don't feel like light yet, but you're walking toward it? Because maybe this isn't about finding a new path. Maybe it's about becoming the path, and maybe you already are.